Greetings and welcome back. It's your host, Gabe Morales. As promised, today we're going to cover two white prison gangs, or groups, or organizations, as they like to be called, that originate in Texas: the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas and the Aryan Circle, and talk a little bit about their development and friction within their ranks. I was recently on a podcast and talked about how all of these groups mostly hit their own race. It's very interesting to me that all these prison gangs and even street gangs mostly prey on their own people. Aryan Brotherhood mostly kills other whites,
Mm.
although they've had beefs with Hispanic gangs and black gangs. The main victims are other whites and other white convicts in the system. The Mexican gangs mostly hit their own. The black gangs mostly clean house and kill their own. It's really interesting how they all profess to have white power or Mexican power or black
Mm.
power, yet they mostly hurt their own. There have been various white prison gangs over the years in the Lone Star State, such as the Texas Mafia, who was very close to the Texas Syndicate. But out of all the white security threat groups in Texas, the two main ones that developed and later spread to the federal BOP system was the AB of Texas and the Aryan Circle. Both groups have detailed written rules, referred to as their constitutions. Neither group allows non-Aryans to join, and in both, membership is supposed to be for life. At one time, there's a blood in, blood out requirement. In other words, you had to kill to get membership. But now, a blind faith commitment is acceptable in some cases. So let's talk a little bit about their origins. The ABT was established following the desegregation of Texas prisons and the dismantling of the longtime building tender or trustee system, basically inmate bosses, a system in which prison officials use other inmates to help maintain order and discipline in prisons. Understand that some inmates even had keys to cells in certain areas. That system was finally abolished in 1980 as a result of the federal court case, Ruiz versus Estelle, and inmates immediately began to organize along racial lines to fill the power void. The ABT is said to have been founded at the end of 1981, early part of 1982, when a group of white Texas inmates, led by Bobby Adams, D. Rushing, inmate Wagner, and a few others, who decided to start their own group. It was first known as the Fab Five, referring to the first five original members, and they first called it the Texas Aryan Brotherhood. That's right, TAB, not ABT. And, like I said, used religious freedom and rights as cover, calling it the Church of Aryan Christian Heritage, or Coach. Big Mike McCarthy was housed at the federal United States prison in Marion, where many California Aryan Brotherhood members were housed at the time, and asked permission to stamp a chapter in Texas. Former California AB Commissioner John Greshner states that he spoke to fellow AB Edgar Snell heavily about it and stated that he was in support of it to increase their influence and business proceeds in other states. Greshner's Texas comrade Charlie Jive Roberts also talked about it in 1983 and sent word to the Texas brothers that John had stamped them. But actually, this was not true. Some of the other commissioners were against it. ABT Generals Slick and Jive, later were named in a Texas indictment for multiple murders, were also aware of this decision. And ABT Billy George, who also knew Greshner, talked about it. But evidently, the majority of California AB members refused the Texas faction to formally join forces. Friction between the California AB and ABT has continued, even in recent years. In 2005, an ABT member wrote to another ABT and stated that the California AB is unwilling to discuss the matter, and they refuse to reach any type of agreement. And that was that the California AB had issued an order for all ABT members in the federal system to cover up or remove their ABT tattoos, which they refused. The Aryan Brotherhood of California only recognizes the federal faction as well as the Arizona AB. All other states and all other factions are considered to be renegades. EDCJ first adsegged the ABT in 1984, along with other prison gangs. In March 1985, Prospect Virgil Barfield carried out an ABT order to kill Calvin Massey, who both at the time were trying to get into the Brotherhood. It was stated that Massey had stood up to the Constitution by getting an ABT tattoo before he had even joined the Brotherhood. It was stated that Barfield stabbed Massey 42 times. So as you can tell, they take that patch very serious. Since its founding, the ABT has made several attempts to change its name. They also tried filing a lawsuit, but finally decided that the membership did not have enough heart, so they folded it. Due to serious problems within the group, the doors were open to allow members who wanted out to just walk away. And by 1989, the group basically disbanded. Shortly after, Riley Ray Foltz, who'd been crossed out of the ABT by Bosco's group, decided to put the group back together in 1994. They then reformed again, but made sure to call it the ABT and made sure not to use the shamrock, which is the main symbol the California AB uses. The ABT came up with a symbol of a shield with a swastika in the middle and a sword running through it. They'll also often have lightning bolts, like many Supreme White Power groups have. This is supposed to be earned by doing a hit for the gang. They may use a hand sign of 2-1 for the second and first letters of the alphabet, AB, and may also codename the group Ace Deuce. From the beginning, the ABT emerged as one of the most violent gangs in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, committing 13 murders just in 1984 through 85 alone. The ABT's first big war was with the black Texas prison gang called the Mandingo Warriors, who were basically eliminated within the prison system. They also fought with another black prison group called the Self-Defense Family, and the same thing happened to them. While the California AB is more known for their federal system war against DC blacks, the ABT will also sometimes fight DC blacks and other black security threat groups in the federal BOP. Next, the ABT went to war with the Aryan Circle, a war which roughly lasted 8 years, 1986 to 1994. At times, the ABT would take their focus off AC to deal with other matters, but the war always re-erupted. I understand until an uneasy respect for respect agreement was signed. There then became peace within the organization for a couple of years, but eventually there was more division. And around 1994, they rallied around the Aryan Reich, which led to a split in the organization and the formation of a separate organization, the AR. They adopted their own constitution and colors. And since they were a spinoff of the ABT, TDCJ classified them as ABT, but with a side note as being the AR faction. Years later, AR members started fighting their label or having anything to do with ABT, and this created headaches within the TDCJ. Nobody has ever won a war against the ABT, although the Texas Mexican Mafia, or Mexicanemi, and AC came away with peace treaties. The Texas Mafia, another white prison gang, was in limbo and basically closed the books and no longer were allowed to recruit any new members. After the ABT Texas Mafia War, in 1995 through 96. Females are not allowed to be ABT members, but some sisters may be considered to be associates. Some ABT members even briefly ran a website called the Featherwood Connection, which was designed to find mates for imprisoned ABT members, also sometimes referred to as Peckerwoods. The ABT is led by a steering committee comprised of 5 offenders called the Wheel, each of whom is responsible for a specific geographic area, and as a 5-man steering committee, maintains control of the group's activities in and out of the prison system. The steering committee is also responsible for revising all rules in the Constitution and enforcing regulations for the organization. The ABT was set up with a military rank structure of generals, captains, lieutenants, soldiers, or non-ranking members, with some individuals filling special roles when ordered to. These are referred to as being appointments, which can be taken away with a majority decision for any major violation, or there can be demotions if there is a minor violation. In 1996, the ABT split into 2 factions, one led by Joe Jackson, aka Dirty Joe, and the other by Jimmy Carpenter, also called TAB. The ABT has continued to have some internal strife, such as when there was another split of 2 main factions, one called Pancho Side, or the Originals, led by Frank Pancho Roach, and the other, the 007 Side, or Renegades, led by James 007 Thompson. Fighting started again in 2002 as 2 ABT generals, Stephen Stainless Cook and Scott Freeman, emerged as leaders of rival factions. Cook later killed Freeman and received a life sentence for the crime. In 2004, an inmate received an incoming letter from another ABT member who was a captain. Later stated, got a little situation at hand that ain't a big deal, but you all need to be aware of. Seems that the Air Khan Corporation has signed a new agreement with Trooper Faction, referring to Jason Hawkins, who was doing life and once represented the Dallas region on the wheel. This was code word for the Aryan Circle, had signed with Jason Hankins, renegade ABT general. The letter also mentioned that the AC complained about their one-time leader, William Big Baby Maynard, who was ousted as ABT general, that he had given information to law enforcement. Later, the letter continued that I understand it's all troopers doing. It's this simple. Pull on them one ears. Code name for the Aryan Circle. In 2012, federal government charged 4 ABT generals, Terry Blake, Larry Slick Bryan, William Baby Huey Maynard, and Charles Jive Roberts, as well as 29 other ABT members in a major racketeering case. Another ABT general, Terry Sellers, allegedly cooperated with prosecutors following his capture in 2011. I believe at this time Larry Slick Bryan is the most senior ABT general. The AC murdered a member of the ABT in 1998 at the McConnell unit, and war raged on until 2009. As stated before, there was an uneasy truce, but they started beefing again in the year 2015. In 2018, federal prosecutors in the Northern District of Texas obtained indictments and convictions of more than 50 individuals, including members of the Aryan Circle, the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, and other white prison gangs. Investigation was handled by numerous law enforcement agencies and was coordinated by the Texas Anti-Gang Center, also known as TAG. Today, the ABT has an estimated membership of over 3,000 members, based primarily in Texas, but also in prisons of neighboring states, in particular New Mexico, as well as in the federal BOP. The Aryan Circle was founded by a former Aryan Army member, Mark Cowboy Gaspard, in 1984 within the Texas Department of Corrections Ferguson unit. And he says that at first was a splinter group of the ABT and was first called the New Brotherhood. But by 1985, he had about 30 members supporting him, and he decided to change the name to AC, a name that they got the idea from in reference to a group of assassins described in a book called The Matry Circle. According to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the AC emerged during a time of intense turmoil with the ABT. And according to AC founders, it was established by a group of men who were fed up with other organizations within the system who claimed to be for the white race, but were in reality nothing more than radical prison gangs. It appears there's some difference of opinion on the early names of the AC. According to one member, the group was originally called the Aryan Christians, but later changed its name because not all of the members were Christians, but some had already put on AC tattoos. The AC went to war against the White Knights, who had split off from the AC after the White Knights tried to stab then AC Vice President Terry Maverick Rayborn. In 1997, a number of Aryan Circle members in the Terrell unit murdered Ryan Osgard, a member of the White Knights, following several earlier confrontations between members of the group. It is my understanding that it was not until 1999, in the wake of the Osgood murder, that TDCJ finally declared the Aryan Circle a security threat group. The group continued to grow in the Texas system as well as in the federal BOP. According to the AC, where they're big enough to stand up to many other white prison gangs. According to the AC, they even hit Big Mark Nyquist of the California AB at USP Cannon, giving him a deep slash on his face. Others state that the AC usually backed up the California AB due to their feud with the AB of Texas. The AC began growing immensely during the 1990s, becoming the second largest prison gang in Texas by the year 2008, with some 730 confirmed members, and many more in the BOP and free world. Law enforcement states that they made the majority of their money by dealing meth, even though that was banned in the original AC Constitution. Like I said, conflicts can and do occur in the Texas and federal prison system. In 2004, authorities confiscated an AC letter containing smash on sight orders, or SOS, directed against members of the Dirty White Boys, or dweebs, as Aryan Circle members often call them. Conflict between the two gangs emerged again in 2008, with several assaults at different federal prisons. However, it is believed that the AC leadership tried to avoid escalating these incidents into a wider conflict in a war they did not need at the time. Aryan Circle has 4 main segments. The Texas prison population, the federal prison population, out-of-state prison population, and non-incarcerated population, or free world members. It is estimated that membership today is close to 1,500, making it one of the largest white supremacist groups in the United States today. The AC Code of Ethics was directly taken from the Aryan Nations Manifesto. The AC will often use 1-3 for the first and third letters of the alphabet. AC, and you often see them holding up 1 and 3 fingers as a hand sign in photos. Their official symbol is a diamond with a swastika in the middle, and the letters AC with a lightning bolt. Sometimes it even has the facility where they were made, as well as a number. This is referred to as their patch. The reason why they put letters and numbers on the patch is to tell for sure who is who, and this way they can keep track of members by roll calls and AC rosters. You'll also often see the AC model of dedication, loyalty, solidarity, and brotherhood, or the wording, my honor is loyalty. When a member leaves the AC, he or she is supposed to cover it up, or it may possibly get burned or cut off. The upper leadership will closely monitor AC members in the middle, who in turn monitor the lower ring levels. It will give detailed direct orders, or DOs, with dates about conducting AC business, and send detailed written copies up the chain of command, just in case it is questioned later. Orders are to be carried out without hesitation. If a member has a complaint, they have to go through their chain of command. The AC is set up different from the ABT. The AC is set up by political rank: president, vice president, center ring directors, state and regional directors, captains, also called sons, and they also have record keepers or secretary positions. The AC is run by elected presidents, who's assisted by senior members. After Johnny J.J. Jones was moved as president, Thomas T.J. Campion stepped forward to serve as acting president. In the year 2007, Troy Shoebottom was said to be AC president in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice before he was paroled to Dallas. And in late 2007, he and other leaders arranged for a vote by the entire membership of the AC to select a new permanent president. The winner was announced in February 2008, and that was Campion's ally, Billy Thumper Haynes of Odessa. I understand that dissenting members objected to Haynes' status due to a sex offense conviction, and many of the dissenters were in the federal prison branch of the AC. Other AC members defended Thumper and said that his situation was unique. Haynes created a new upper board, putting his friend T.J. Campion in charge of the out-of-state system. Leonard Radar Griffith was in charge of the federal system, and Greg Droopy Freeman over the TDCJ system. Haynes himself would oversee the free world membership. Griffith was one of 4 AC members who had their 2004 federal sentences overturned in 2007. Haynes' ascension to power created a lot of drama. Many Circle members objected to the choice, so in mid-2009, he was replaced by Greg Droopy Freeman. Like I said, there's always turmoil in these prison gangs, a lot of petty jealousies and plotting behind the scenes, even though that is supposedly against the rules. In order to join, AC members fill out an official application, often disguised as a legal document. Before they can become members, they have to have at least 2 sponsors and are considered to be prospects until officially approved. There is no time limit for this probation. They must stay on it until found worthy of their AC patch. They will be rejected for any violation of the rules. The AC does allow women to hold rank, and they also have an official newsletter called The Circular to keep members abreast of what's happening within the ranks. The AC can be very deadly. On August 10, 2007, Aryan Circle member Dennis Clem killed 2 police officers who were lured in by his girlfriend at a Budget Inn motel in Bastrop, Louisiana. Clem and his girlfriend were on the run after Clem shot at a vehicle with black teenagers, killing 2 of them and wounded another. 2 officers were lured to the motel by Clem's girlfriend, Tanya Smith, and officers noticed a bong inside the room, entered it when Dennis Clem opened up fire, severely wounding them, and they bled out in front of the room as they tried to escape. Apparently, local law enforcement were called to the scene, and Clem allowed his female associate, Tanya Smith, to flee, but she was captured 2 days later in Houston. Meanwhile, Dennis Clem went out in a blaze of glory so he could end up in Valhalla, the legendary heaven of the Vikings, which, by legend, warriors go to if they die in battle. It is my understanding that the gang continues to have problems with one faction being called the True Aryan Circle and the other one calling itself the Texas Aryan Confederation. And so, that's all I have on the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas and Aryan Circle. If you have more information, feel free to add it in the comments section. If you disagree with anything I say, add that also. Just make sure that it's respectful, or your comment will be deleted and you'll be banned from this channel. You can find more information about the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas and the Aryan Circle in my book, The History of the Aryan Brotherhood, available on Amazon.com and other platforms. Hope you learned something new. Got a lot more new episodes coming up for you until the end of this year, and still looking at new ideas for the year 2025. Also add those suggestions in the comment section. Thanks for watching and supporting this channel. Please always remember to count your blessings and stay safe. For now, this is Gabe Morales signing off. Gangsters, cops, and politicians.